Hello, everyone, and welcome to our regular meeting of Wednesday, May 6th, school committee meeting. If we could please have the roll call, Superintendent.
Mr. Goli, Mrs. Campbell,
Present.
Mrs. Campbell,
Present.
Mrs. Hubley,
Present.
Mr. Leon. Present. Mrs. Perdios. Present. Mayor Koch.
Present.
Quincy High School Student Representative MJ Perdios. Thank you for joining us tonight. And Student Representative from North Quincy High School, Caroline Pham. Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you. At this time, could we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you could please remain standing for more.
Let us remember men and women serving in uniform all around the world, keeping the peace, keeping us safe. Let us also be mindful of the war and violence happening in our world, and in our own way, maybe say a prayer for peace. Thank you.
Just need to read. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. At this time, next on the agenda is open forum. This is an opportunity for community input regarding the Quincy Public Schools. Community in this context is defined as a resident of the city of Quincy, a non-resident parent of a student who attends the Quincy Public Schools, or a non-resident employee of the Quincy Public Schools. After giving his or her name and address, each speaker may make a presentation of no more than 3 minutes to the school committee. An individual may not exchange their time or yield to others. Residents or non-community persons may submit written statements of up to 300 words to the school committee at QSC Open Forum at quincypublicschools.com by 4 o'clock of the day prior to the posted school committee regular meetings. Mrs. Owens, did we have letters that were posted?
Yes, there's 15 letters that were posted on the Quincy Public Schools website with the meeting agenda.
Thank you. Okay. And with that, I will open forum, and let me find the microphone. And just let you know I am keeping time on my clock.
Chair Hubley, Mayor Koch, again, my name is Russ Wilcox. I live on 1205 Hancock Street here in Quincy. If it's not apparent to this room, I am white. I am also a devout Catholic. I say that not due to my race nor my faith, but because of what is transpiring here. Because Quincy is deciding the fate of others. We are heirs to the Commonwealth that was built by people who were told they do not belong in it. In 1854, a political party swept through every seat in this state's legislature. They were called the Know-Nothings. Their platform barbed Roman Catholics from public office by name. Their first target was schools. They forced Catholic children to read a Protestant Bible in class and sent investigators into our Catholic schools. They proposed making our families wait 21 years to vote. They called protecting it the process. They called it preserving tradition. They called it institutional. They did not call what it was. It took our families nearly a century to reach the room where the decisions were made, and the man who finally reached the highest office in the country that was born 15 miles from here, and half the nation still asked whether a Catholic could be trusted with the title of office. And as you sit there drinking your drinks, I say that that word in that person carries history, and I recognize it, unlike this board, when I see it. For 5 years, the families in this room have asked for one letter on a calendar. And for 5 years, that answer has changed while the outcome has not. It falls on a Saturday. It's a jurisdictional matter. The data is insufficient. The rules require a supermajority. An institution does not need 4 different reasons to say no. It only needs 4 different reasons because it cannot say the reason they are not voting. To the families who have returned to this microphone year after year, I see you. The school committee does not. To those committee members who have opposed the measure, Good Friday is on the calendar. It is not a state holiday. It is not a federal holiday. It is a day that my faith observes, and this committee chose to recognize it. The question is what you believe, what are you protecting, and why are you keeping others apart? And I was not born into the Catholic faith. I came to it in 25 because I found its teaching principles something I did not find in the Protestant Bible, that the dignity of every person comes before the rules of any institution. St. John Paul II wrote that the rights of a person are not based primarily on juridical membership or is determined by community, but rather on the dignity of a person, not on process, not on jurisdiction, on dignity. I chose my faith that teaches this, and I hope those that also share my faith recognize this. And I am standing here, and I am asking here to those who are born into it, remember what it teaches them.
You have 10 seconds.
This is what Massachusetts learned at a cost of a century. Don't make the families wait more. Put an H on the calendar.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Koch, Vice Chair Hubley. Superintendent Mulvey, Ms. Owens, members of the school committee, Richard Ash, 7 Silver Street. I serve as the Ward 2 City Councilor as well. I am here to state my support for the Lunar New Year, for Lunar New Year to be recognized as a holiday on the QPS calendar. It's an issue I voiced support for in the past, and also a matter that I voted to advance last term on the City Council. I know this is important to a large number of our community members who have shown up consistently over the last few years and advocated for it. I take great pride in representing a diverse area of the city and feel compelled to respectfully offer my support here tonight. Thank you all for your time and opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Heather Doney, and I live at 912 Southern Artery. What I have to say tonight is a secondhand story that I am sharing in my own words, information I learned from an Asian person in our community who has been involved in this advocacy effort, but doesn't feel comfortable being at a microphone tonight in our current political environment. 5 years ago, high school students circulated a petition that garnered 1,200 signatures asking to make this a school holiday. While trying to honor their ask, we run into excuses, dismissive, condescending attitudes, bad faith arguments, and the crux of it, not wanting Asian people to be equal. Not thinking the holiday is worth asking families who are not Asian to take the day off for, too. One school committee member pointed to another district with a large Asian population and asked, if they're not celebrating it, why should we? While ignoring districts like Hopkinton with a far smaller Asian American population that already recognized Lunar New Year. Another told families that it was amazing children could come to school and share their culture with classmates, completely overlooking that this holiday is celebrated together at home, the same way many holidays are honored. We heard changing arguments over the years, concerns about meals, services, attendance, scheduling, issues that are solvable for other holidays already on the calendar, like the primary election holiday or, Good Friday, things like this. The student survey results were scoffed at as, high schoolers would rather stay home, but the disregard for the intelligence of our young adults was stunning. We heard references to having Asian friends as proof of cultural understanding instead of genuine engagement with the lived experiences of Asian students and families in Quincy. And perhaps most painful of all, hearing that after all this, all the people have set up here the claim that the rules themselves have been changed expressly to make it harder for advocacy for this holiday to succeed. That is deeply upsetting to me personally. We all see that some of the strongest opposition has come from school committee members who do not even have children in the school system, people who don't know what it's like raising kids in Quincy in 2026, that don't have the accommodations and the cultural respect we're asking for to reflect, it doesn't reflect any of their own families and social circle. And those of you who are standing in the way of this, you're stuck on the way things were years ago, your pride at what you think you know, and your refusal to listen. This conversation has never been about only one holiday. It's been about belonging. And that's what you need to understand. This is also personal for me, whether people like my husband, who was born in Vietnam and grew up here, or people like our children who were born here and are growing up here, their identity matters equally to someone born and raised in Quincy, to someone from anywhere, anyone who calls Quincy home. It matters as much as my identity or yours. And how could Asian members of this community feel truly seen, heard, or respected in this process? Was that ever important? Did anyone think of that? Whether equity means listening only when it's convenient or limited by you, or listening when communities tell you they are hurting and you could do something to fix it. That's what people need to
You're at
think
10
about.
seconds.
I see half our school committee doing the work, and I see the other half who need to do the work. And so tonight, I respectfully ask you to do the work. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Laura Moy. I live at 41 Silver Street in Quincy, and I have a daughter who's a 10th grader at Quincy High. This is my 11th year in Quincy. My family is mixed. My husband was Japanese Chinese from Hawaii. I'm white. Our child obviously is both of us. We moved here. We chose Quincy. We could have moved anywhere in the Boston area when we came here. We chose Quincy because of what Quincy is now. It is such a wonderful mix of people, and especially a wonderful mix of our family. We believe that we could be at home here. I lost my husband in 2018. It's my job now to be both parents. It's my job now to make sure that I'm bringing both cultures to life for my child. It pains us both that in this place that is such a high percentage Chinese and Asian, that the Lunar New Year cannot be recognized. It's not complicated. The numbers are clear. They need to be respected. When I asked my daughter why does she support Lunar New Year as a holiday, she said, Mom, it's really simple. If Good Friday is a holiday, Lunar New Year should be a holiday. It's not hard. Live up to the best of what we can be. Embrace the Quincy of today, not the Quincy of 50 years ago. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bill Spirito, 43 Park Street. Good evening. I'm the QPS parent of a middle schooler, and I wish I could have come to have spoken at open forum sooner, but my evening responsibilities prohibit me from doing that. My day-to-day is, for the past 20-plus years, working at a continuing ed language school in downtown Crossing, where we work to bridge linguistic and cultural gaps in Boston and beyond. And we strive to do that, and that's how I spend most of my evenings, but I wish I could have been here sooner. I, like many, am bamboozled as why we're still here working to put an H on the calendar for Lunar New Year. Recently, just talking about tonight's meeting, a fellow QPS parent and friend mentioned that what else could possibly be said? I mean, so much has been said and written about the support for this, but I see there's plenty to be said as well. I think it was awesome to see a middle schooler himself come up and speak in favor of this as well in a recent meeting. Way to go, Tyler. That was amazing to see. I was concerned at a recent meeting as well that it had to be pointed out that there are rules that allow for time for interpretation. I'm glad it worked out, but that stung still to know that and that had to be pointed out. As far back as I can remember, the Lunar New Year Festival, the August Moon Festival, put the city at a standstill due to the popularity of those festivals. I'd be hard-pressed to find a louder call from constituents than in the 20 years I've been in Quincy than what is going on here today. I echo the calls against the concerns about a tsunami of additional holidays celebrated by others, especially while Good Friday is a holiday on our school calendar. Since dependence on school meals is an issue, I encourage that we address those needs for the other days as well that are holidays, as opposed to voting against this holiday. Please put an H on the school calendar for Lunar New Year.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council Member, Council President, and the rest of the council. So my name is Lori Earle. I live at 118 Billings Street in North Quincy. So when my daughter was diagnosed with cancer when she was 12, and so we needed to come back from France, where we had been living, working with the church, to Quincy, and we needed to live close to Dana-Farber and Children's Hospital, and so we were able to move to Quincy, where there was a church opening, and my husband is a minister, and he took that position. At that time, we planned to stay for 1 year. That was in 2007. So it's been a very long, long year. And but there were so many things that we had come to love about Quincy, especially as a city. You know, it's just, in a great location. It's close to such amazing hospitals and care when our children are sick or us as adults. I worked at Quincy College. I'm an educator. I have always done kind of social work types of work loved working at Quincy and the students. I always said how much I loved our students at Quincy. My husband ended up teaching there also for 10 years, along with doing his minister work that he did in various locations. The city, our community embraced us. It was just wonderful. People came together because there were burdens and there were things we had in common. And it didn't matter where we came from or, where we were going, but it was who we were as a city, right? And so I think that same concept about embracing this city, I mean, what could be better? A city that's on the water, that's got mountains nearby, that's got such diversity, which just made us celebrate the diversity that we had around us. My daughter took French. She had been taking French language when she was in France before we moved back. So it was just such an embracing community. And I was, I'm on way too many Facebook pages and way too many social media pages. Last night when I was scrolling through, I saw a comment Tina made. We were at Quincy at the same time, and I really appreciated your comment about saying how much, we weren't on different sides. We're part of the same city, and we care about a lot of the same causes, and we might approach them differently. But I just feel that, I used to be very involved in the schools. My son had disabilities. I was on the Disability Advisory Committee. And now this is an issue that it hurts my heart that, in fact, the first time I ever stood up to speak I won't go long, I promise. The first time I ever stood up to speak at City Council was to try to defend.
10 seconds.
Okay. Then I won't mention that. But I do want to say that we can focus on what helps each other and strengths. And if you look around at the diversity that we represent,
Thank you.
this is a good holiday to celebrate together.
Good evening, members of the committee, and to my fellow community members. I have a timer here as well. I want to start, my name is Jana Mulcairn. I live at 54 Virginia Road. I want to start with an acknowledgement that and an appreciation for two committee members, likely not aligned with me on this issue, Lunar New Year. They did take the time to respectfully engage on email in response to the letter I sent for the last meeting, and I appreciate that. I'm here tonight to continue that respectful and constructive engagement. I ask the folks behind me to keep that respectful and constructive as well. I know sometimes we get heated. For years, we've all spoken about and heard all of the reasons why the state needs to be recognized on the school calendar. And although it falls on a weekend in the upcoming school year, it's important to finally deliver on what the constituents are asking. We want to codify this day on the calendar as a holiday for the foreseeable future. I spoke on this topic a couple of years ago. I've written letters, attended and watched meetings. And while I've heard some committee members mention that they've had private messages or Facebook encounters with those opposing this calendar day as a holiday, I'm guessing those constituents may not feel as strongly about their no positions as those of us here on the yes side. Let's correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall many or any constituents standing up here and speaking out about not including this holiday on the calendar. I haven't seen many or any letters. I've only heard those in support. Whether we personally celebrate this holiday or not, I just can't understand why anyone else is still digging in on a no vote here. I do not think it sets a precedent for every other cultural holiday to be added into our district if we are simply just recognizing and honoring the wishes of the now majority of our QPS families, including folks like me who do not celebrate the holiday. One of the members noted in their response to me, one of the committee members, that they had a right to their opinion just like everyone has a right to theirs, and they could vote accordingly. Well, I firmly believe that when you all as individuals are wearing your private citizen hat behind the voting booth, I would hope that when you're voting as this collective body in these meetings, that you are wearing a different hat. I believe that you would vote in good faith to represent me and my fellow community members, as we've elected you to do. Not to represent some of us, but to represent all of us. So I ask that you reflect on that and remember when today's vote comes up, you are in these seats not just simply to act on your own view or preference on any issue, but you are there to listen to your constituents and vote in good faith to represent all of us. the entire QPS community. And when our demographic metrics have changed over time to put Asian families who celebrate Lunar New Year as the majority, why wouldn't your positions evolve accordingly? You seem to have continued to vote as you wish, rather than on behalf of your constituents. And while that is your right, I hope you can understand why it is also so frustrating, disappointing, and disheartening for so many of us. Tonight, you still have that time to change of heart and vote on behalf of all of us for who you represent here at the school committee with that hat on instead of your private citizen hat. I hope you will get on the side of yes on the issue of the majority of our families are on and vote with all of us. Thank you for listening and for your
Thank you.
consideration.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, school committee members. My name is Alexandra Carlson, and I live at 65 Quincy Shore Drive. This is the first time I've ever spoken publicly in a forum like this, which just goes to reflect how deeply I feel about this issue. The Quincy School Committee's decision to not yet recognize Lunar New Year as an official school holiday is a failure to reflect the community it was elected to serve. Nearly 40% of students in Quincy Public Schools are of Asian descent, yet the most significant cultural holiday for many of these families is still treated as an ordinary school day, forcing students and parents to choose between honoring their traditions and honoring their education. That is not inclusion, that is not fairness, and it certainly does not reflect the values of a city as diverse and vibrant as Quincy. The voters this past November made their voices clear when new members were elected to the school committee, largely because residents rallied and demanded stronger recognition and representation for Quincy's Asian community. Ignoring that message disregards not only those families impacted, but the democratic will of the people who sent this committee a mandate for change. I do not personally celebrate Lunar New Year, but to me, being part of a community means recognizing and respecting the traditions of our neighbors. Quincy cannot claim to embrace diversity while refusing to acknowledge one of the most important holidays celebrated by so many of its residents. And beyond the principle of fairness, the practical reality is undeniable. In January 2025, approximately 55% of students at North Quincy High School were absent on Lunar New Year. I'm a former teacher, and I can say plainly, when more than half the student body is missing, meaningful instruction is impossible and nulls the argument for excused absences. Keeping schools open under these conditions serves no educational purpose and disrupts learning for students and teachers alike. I understand the constraints around scheduling, but given that other districts and cities have found a way to make the shift, I believe it's possible here. This is a matter of common sense, respect, and equity. No family should have to choose between their education and their heritage. The school committee should listen to the community, honor the will of Quincy voters, and make Lunar New Year an official school holiday. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Chris Moy. I am a resident of 58 Holyoke Street in North Quincy. My son is a graduate of North Quincy High School, now attending a fantastic university. So my family and I are very grateful and happy with the education that our son received at North Quincy High School and his career in college now. But I must say, as a longtime Quincy resident and voter of Chinese descent, I believe adding Lunar New Year as a school holiday would recognize and celebrate the diversity that makes our community strong. Cities like New York City and San Francisco have already adopted the holiday in their public schools, showing respect for the many Asian American families who celebrate this important cultural tradition. And recognizing Lunar New Year in Quincy would help students feel seen, valued, and included, while also giving all students an opportunity to learn about different cultures and traditions. It would uplift the community by promoting understanding, unity, and pride among families who have contributed to Quincy for generations. So I urge you to vote yes.
Good evening. My name is Raymond Zhang, and for the past 11 years, it's been my honor to be a student in the Quincy Public Schools. Tonight, we've heard a lot of powerful testimony on why this holiday should be implemented. I just wanted to put my piece into the puzzle. Growing up, I feel like I could speak for many Asian Americans when I say that I struggled with my Asian American identity a lot. And I think part of that problem was because growing up, Chinese New Year's didn't necessarily feel special. It felt like I was choosing between school and celebrating my heritage. And that made me not really appreciate the nuances of my heritage when I was little. I've grown up since then, and I learned to really appreciate the beauty of my traditions, sorry, and my lineage. But you know, just growing up in, I didn't know how to speak English until I was probably in first or second grade, and my family didn't know that we could take the day off for Chinese New Year's, and you know, it just felt like I was choosing between going to school, which was like ingrained into my values as like the most important thing you could do, or celebrating, you know, this like major event during our year. And I just wish it didn't feel like that. Last night I was doing some research and I stumbled across the QPS new employee brochure. On it, it said that roughly 40.2% of all students in Quincy Public Schools are of Asian descent. That is roughly 3,900 students across our 19 schools. And I really wish that what happened with me, you know, didn't happen to all of these people across our city. Quincy is a storied city, and what makes us so powerful is our history, you know, like the two presidents, and our diversity, you know, with the August Moon Festival and the Lunar New Year celebration at my school, North Quincy High School. And I think that implementing this would not be a big ask, and it's been so powerful and popular across, you know, just everyone that I've talked to, and I really urge you to vote yes to pass this. Thank you.
Next speaker, please come on up. Thank you.
Hi, members of the committee. My name is Albert Lee. I live at 23 Bailey Street over in the Marymount area. And I'll get straight to the point. You've heard a lot of people already kind of speaking on these points, but what I've heard time and time again from some members of the committee has been that, you know, the argument that if we celebrate one holiday, what's stopping us from celebrating every single minor holiday? But every town in this country, you know, has holidays on their school calendars. They've been able to choose these without being deadlocked like that. And so why is this really a slippery slope fallacy going on here? Like, why are we choosing to ask that question for this holiday in specific? And also, we've Quincy celebrates the holiday as Quincy benefits from the cultures that many different cultures actually celebrate this holiday, right? It's a cross-cultural holiday. People belong to different cultures, but Quincy really has benefited from celebrating these cultures and this holiday in specific. We have, you know, an actual festival here, but we refuse to acknowledge this when it comes to the actual families who have children in the QHS system. I volunteer with actually a lot of students in QPS. So the other thing is again, this is another argument I've heard is this forces families with working parents to decide, you know, have to make daycare arrangements if there's a day off. But that problem is also true of every single school holiday we have on the calendar. So why is this being brought up time and again for this holiday in specific, right? So I urge you to consider basically the will of the parents, the students in these schools, and please make Lunar New Year an official school holiday. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, Quincy School Committee, Mayor Koch. My name is Angela. I live on 35 Marymount Road. I don't know why this has to be such a long, drawn-out fight, if I'm being honest. It is AAPI Heritage Month, that's Asian American Pacific Islander Month. That means that the United States is recognizing Asian Americans and their legitimacy and their existence and their contribution to America, meaning we are also American. This is far from the yellow peril propaganda that was shown 100 years ago. Like, Asian Americans were not some boogeyman that is here to like take over your city. We're also Americans. We're voting, tax-paying Americans that own property. Like, I've lived here for a long time too with property. I don't understand why we just cannot have basic respect and dignity and to be recognized in the public school system. I mean, you guys have heard about the stats where like so many students don't come to school because it's Lunar New Year. There's so many Asian students in the public school system. I don't understand why we cannot just be seen with respect and dignity as Americans. So I'm here to express that frustration, and I'm sure everyone here is also equally as frustrated. I don't know why there's been no support for it. So please support Lunar New Year as H on the school calendar. Thank you.
Whoever's next, come on up.
The next speaker will speak in Cantonese and I'll be interpreting.
If I could just wait one moment for a second, I just wanted to, point of clarification. So as I spoke to the translator and let her know that for the past 4 meetings that she has been coming, and another translator who was here for the 4 meetings, what the common thing to do is the speaker, as in our policy, gets 3 minutes. The translator, who is also a speaker, is getting 3 minutes. So together they are getting 6 minutes. So for the past 3 meetings, they were getting 6 minutes. The last meeting, the speaker was speaking very slowly, and I did not think she was going to make it in the time, and I gave her a halfway point. Your time is almost coming up. And at that point, there was some confusion because I hadn't done that to anybody else, and I was therefore told afterwards that was unequitable and I'm not allowed to do that. So everybody gets the 10 seconds is what I'm commonly doing with everyone, so everyone will get the 10 seconds. I just didn't feel that was going to benefit you, so I was trying to help you, but apparently I can't do that. So just want to let you know, tonight you will get the 6 minutes, and at the 10-second point, I will be telling you, you have 10 seconds. So, and I did let you know that ahead of time, so I just want to make sure that I told you again and everybody.
Thank you for the clarification here and tonight. Yep.
Go right ahead.
Understood.
Đại家好，我叫阿蘭，我住喺一天後嘅朗園屋，就得啦。
Hi, my name is Lan, and I live at 1000 Southern Artery.
我希望各位委員能支持電動力練等，因為學校嘅假期，我就講啦。
I hope the committee will consider supporting making Lunar New Year a school holiday.
我有4個孫兒對君子學校學師。
I have 4 grandchildren studying at Quincy Public Schools.
每年我們都希望能以家人節去慶祝這個重要嘅節日。
Every year, we look forward to having time to celebrate this important holiday together as a family.
孩子們對於反對新年穿上傳統嘅服裝，小利是非常危險。
Yeah, the children love wearing new clothes on Lunar New Year Day, getting red envelopes. It's a very happy day for us.
我們家又為下廚準備牛雞鵝個啱傳統嘅食物。
It is our customs to cook together, make some customary food, vegetables, chicken.
共享繁榮益起着，按佢講大慶孩子們需要上學，這咧珍貴家慶時光調侃難時。
Yeah, but when the children have school on that day, then not all of these can come true. We couldn't spend this time together.
調定節活躍嘅，新年會去為美國人嚟說是重要一點嘅。
Yeah, just like how January 1st is an important day for many Americans, Lunar New Year is like our New Year's Day for many Asian families.
農曆新年就安慰我們亞裔家庭嘅1月1日，定正直線嘅一年開始。
Yeah, it represents a new beginning for the family and for our culture.
更是我們傳承嘅文化、延續傳統嘅重要時刻。
It's also a time for us to be able to pass down our culture, our history, and our values.
只要讓校委有機會親身經歷參與，他們才能真正了解我們的歷史和文化。
But only if they have the time and the space to participate in these traditions that they could truly understand the importance and why we have these customs and to understand our history.
希望各位委員能向推我們社區的聲聲，我支持爹爹。
I hope all of the school committee members here can listen to the voices of the many people here in support and hope that you also support our families. Thank you so much.
都係一樣咩
Yeah, 都係。
？Hello，大家好，我叫英兒，住響昆士。
Hi everyone, my name is Yinger Xue and I live in Quincy.
好多謝各位委員今日能夠坐喺呢度聆聽我哋社區嘅聲音。
Yeah, thank you, school committee, for hosting this open forum and to listen to the voices of our community again.
我今日嚟呢度就係想各位投票支持呢個農曆新年為學生嘅公共假期。
I hope that this can finally come to a vote, to have the decision to support the many families who are here, residents who are here.
首先，農曆新年係華人普天同慶嘅日子，係最重要嘅文化符號。將其定為學校嘅假期，能夠讓學生當天能夠參加慶祝活動，而唔需要曠課，從而保護我哋嘅家庭團聚同埋文化傳承。
So first, Lunar New Year is the most widely celebrated holiday in the Asian community and one of our most important cultural traditions. Making it a school holiday would allow students to participate in family celebrations without having to miss school and helping preserve family unity and cultural heritage.
其次係更加係爭取文化平等嘅公民權利。喺一個多元嘅社會，讓華人嘅傳統節日獲得官方嘅認可，意味住華裔族群及其貢獻被社會看見同埋尊重。
And second, this is also about cultural equality and recognition. In a diverse community like Quincy, officially recognizing a traditional holiday means that Asian American community and our contributions are seen and respected.
農曆新年對我哋嚟講，唔單止係一個普通嘅節日，而係我哋傳統文化最重要嘅一日。農曆新年嘅慶祝活動，俾我哋拋開過去一年嘅煩惱，迎接新嘅一年平安順遂同埋好運嘅來臨。
For us, Lunar New Year is not just another holiday, it is the most important day in our culture. The celebration of Lunar New Year represents leaving behind, hardships in the past year, welcoming a new year filled with peace, prosperity, and good fortune.
將農曆新年定為法定假日，更加係認可亞裔俾我哋嘅城市帶嚟嘅多樣性文化，同時亦都為所有昆士嘅學生提供一個參與慶祝農曆新年嘅機會。
Recognizing Lunar New Year as an official holiday would also acknowledge the diversity that Asian Americans bring to our city, while giving all Quincy students, everyone, an opportunity to learn about and participate in our traditions.
就好像美國有國慶日同埋感恩節咁樣，讓下一代了解同埋珍惜呢個國家嘅歷史同埋價值觀。農曆新年亦都係我哋華人傳承自己文化同埋歷史嘅重要機會。
Just as holidays like Independence Day, Thanksgiving help pass down American history and values, Lunar New Year is an important opportunity for Chinese families to preserve and share our culture. 喺美國成長嘅華人孩子，佢哋同時可以為自己
嘅中國傳統感到自豪，亦都為身為美國人感到驕傲，呢一個係非常重要嘅。
Asian Americans children growing up in this country deserve to feel proud of both their cultural heritage and their identity. This is deeply important for a child's development.
依家喺加州同埋紐約都已經將農曆新年定為學生嘅假期，甚至加州甚至將佢定為政府僱員嘅法定假日。呢一個係個好嘅開始。咁點解我哋唔可以呢？
Today, states like California and New York have already recognized Lunar New Year as a school holiday, not just that, but even made it an official holiday for state employees. That is an encouraging step forward. So why can't we do that too here in Quincy?
喺我哋昆士生活住大量嘅亞裔居民，佢哋係社區嘅重要組成部分，佢哋為昆士嘅發展付出咗好多，佢哋亦都為能夠實現呢個目標付出咗好多年嘅努力。
Here in Quincy, Asian American residents are an important part of the community. We've contributed greatly to the growth and success of this city, and many have worked for years to make this goal possible.
我哋希望嘅係讓我哋嘅學生同埋我哋嘅家長唔使喺慶祝自己重要傳統節日嘅時候，喺上學同埋休假之間做出兩難嘅選擇。
What we hope for is very simple, that students and families will no longer have to choose between celebrating their holiday, their most important cultural day, and attending school.
我哋都希望我哋嘅民主社會能夠聽到我哋嘅聲音，聽到我哋居民嘅訴求。
We also hope that our democratic society will truly hear our voices and recognize the needs of residents here.
咁喺呢度，我都真誠咁希望各位真真正正咁可以聽到大家嘅聲音，咁盡快投票通過呢一個為學生嘅法定假期。
Members of this committee, I sincerely urge you to listen to the voices of the community here and support this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Andy, and I live at 62 Edinburgh Road. 講中文。我有兩個女，我哋住喺呢度27年。咁我嘅兩個女都大個啦，但係我哋去每一間 market 去買嘢嘅時候，都會聽到新年嘅時候都會聽到嗰啲新年歌。咁我啲細路仔係好有興趣去問呢啲songs係做咩用㗎？所以佢哋從細係學我哋中國人嘅傳統，係每到新年嘅時候，我哋嘅 market 會播嗰啲新年歌嘅。
My name's Andy, and I have two daughters. We've lived in Quincy for 27 years. So on Lunar New Year or around the holiday, at the Chinese supermarkets, Asian grocery stores, my kids will listen to the music that's playing. It's like the celebratory Lunar New Year music, and my kids would ask me, why are they playing these songs? What is this about? What is Lunar New Year?
佢哋從細到大都會聽我哋講佢哋聽我哋嘅中國新年係點樣嘅，每一個節日係點樣嚟慶祝嘅，所以佢哋好有興致係想學呢啲嘢。
So as parents, what are we to do? Of course, we want to teach our children about our culture and traditions, and so we would talk to them about the origins of Lunar New Year, the folk stories, and the different customs related to this important day.
但係每一年嘅新年嘅時候咧，我哋朝頭早係要食咗早餐先翻學，我哋會煮齋菜嚟食。但係因為學校冇放假，我哋要啲 parents 我哋要3點鐘朝頭早3 AM 我起床啦，去煮嘢俾佢哋食，然之後派啲紅包俾佢哋，佢哋換啲新衫食齋菜，然之後攞得紅包翻學咧。但係佢哋唔想翻，但係佢哋又唔想 skip 個 class。
Yeah. As much as we want to make Lunar New Year Day a very special day, unfortunately, the kids have schools, right? So what do we do as parents to make it special? We wake up at 3 a.m. We cook the breakfast, a traditional breakfast. It's vegetarian. So at 3 a.m., I wake up, I make food for my kids, and then they will wear new clothes and all of that. We have to do all of this before going to school.
但係每一次佢哋都好似好唔開心咁。哎呀，我又要翻學，但係我又唔想曠課。佢哋想翻學校學嘢，同埋佢哋翻到學校咧，share好多嗰啲中國嘅傳統嘢俾佢哋同學仔，show俾佢哋睇我哋嘅紅包。啲細路仔都好中意聽佢哋講我哋中國嘅新年。
Yeah, but you can see in the kids' eyes how much they want to stay home and spend the day with the family. That's what the holiday is really about, is to spend the time with family. But, they don't want to miss school. They want to learn things. So, of course they go to school. But with the red envelopes in their hands, and the kids at their school would ask them, "Oh, what is it about?" And then so the kids would happily share with the kids. But what they really want to do to be able to spend the time with their family.
所以我希望大家可以投票贊成我哋呢個係新年，係我哋嘅學校假期。
As many of you all know, as part of families and parents, how much you want to spend these special days with your kids and families. So, this is our wishes, and we hope that you can hear how this is really special to us. So I urge you all to vote in support and to side with our community. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, my name is Chuklai. I live at 24 Clive Street. First, I want to thank all of our non-Asian allies for being here to support Lunar New Year. I also want to thank the students who spoke up, and also the school committee and mayor for supporting Lunar New Year. Obviously, everyone has said that we have a large Asian American population here. I've already talked about the data, but I want to talk about advocating for Lunar New Year. I've been advocating for 5 years. 2021. So if you have children that was born in 2021, they're already in kindergarten. Some of them weren't even born yet, and they may be starting kindergarten next year. They were probably in 8th grade and about to graduate high school. So this is how long we've been fighting this. And it's just a simple, yes, let's celebrate, and let's give our Asian American students a holiday they deserve. All the forums that I've heard is always about Lunar New Year. It's not about a few other topics, yes, but majority is Lunar New Year, advocating for Lunar New Year. I'm on Facebook blog, chats. Why aren't they supporting Lunar New Year? It's a simple, let's represent our student population. We know everyone sees it. So why not give it to them? Every time we make progress, there's always a pushback. So when we started this, Laura was able to read out the letters. But then we had 50 letters supporting Lunar New Year. That was too much reading. So let's cut the reading out and let's just post it online, right? Pushback. Some former members said, if this is an issue with you, why don't we make it a city holiday? Former City Council Lena Liang proposed, let's make it a holiday. Everyone on the board was in support of it, was a vote yes. Yet school committee was gonna sue. It said, whose jurisdiction was it to make that decision? Well, school committee suggested it, and we brought it to city council, and city council supported it, and now you're suing, right? Let's see. We used to be able to read letters for 4 minutes. Push back. Too many Lunar New Year celebration. Let's push it back to 3 minutes. Every time when we say supportive, let's do a survey. Let's do a family survey. Survey comes back, support Lunar New Year. That doesn't count. Everybody wants every holiday off.
You have
And
10
now
seconds.
we have more. Let's push back. Let's do another policy, 2/3 votes. So let's not waste our time. Let's give us Lunar New Year as a celebration. It's simple.
Your time
And
is
then,
up. Thank you.
That's fine.
Hello, good evening. School committee members, Mr. Mayor, my name is Kim Horrigan. I live in 139 West Guadam. I was truly inspired by all the speakers who spoke out last meeting and the letters that poured in advocating for Lunar New Year. We heard from parents, grandparents, QPS students, neighbors who don't even celebrate holidays. support this holiday. Their voices made one thing very clear, that this holiday holds deep cultural and personal significance for the Asian community. I think the positions you hold gives you the power to make a difference in many young lives, not only in their academics, but also in their social and mental well-being. Your votes not only impact the policies in our schools, but they reassure these students that they are central in your decision-making, and they matter. When you say you cannot pass Lunar New Year because not all schools have that many Asians who celebrate and can't close those schools down, perhaps these Asian families cannot afford the Squantum or the Marymount zip codes, or they are renting those apartments by the train because they don't have a car, they can't drive. So I think that simply needing to voting based on zip code because these schools cannot be shut down shouldn't be the case, and that perspective matters. Some of you mentioned that you can't support the observance of Lunar New Year because over 60% of the students are considered low income and need school lunches. But the number of people observing Good Friday are low as well. As many have suggested over the years, why can't we make Good Friday an excusable holiday and observe Lunar New Year instead? Good Friday and Christmas are observed while the single Asian holiday that matters, requested by the community for the past 5 years, have not. This is not equality. Some of you have mentioned that you cannot support Asian Lunar New Year on our school calendars because there are also other students who make up that 1%, 5%, or maybe 20%, and those students count too. So you wish to ignore the 40% of students to do absolutely nothing to honor their long overdue request. This is not equality. I have deep concerns that your vote, that you would consider changing the rules of needing 5 out of 7 votes now instead of the usual 4 out of 7 historically, especially now that new members who support and understand the importance of this cultural holiday are in place. I don't think that you guys are playing fair.
You have
And maybe
10
that
seconds.
this is why there's such outrage. So I really encourage that you support the holiday. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, school committee, mayor, chair. My name is Lindsay Robertson. I live at 199 Federal Avenue, and I'm here to say the same thing that everybody here and everybody over there is saying. Let's make it a holiday. It's too long. It doesn't matter. It does matter. It doesn't matter that other people don't want this anymore. We want it. 40% of our children sorry, it's hot and I'm sweating. We walked over from the Y. 40% of our kids in our schools are Asian heritage. It's past time. In action, this is supremacy. You can say as much as you want about how much you support our Asian community, but your actions speak louder than your words. Show up for the 40% of the kids and 40% of the families that want this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please come up to the microphone.
Hey, howdy, I am Zachary Christopher from 67 Montclair Avenue. I am here to speak in support of Lunar New Year. And now that all of the pleasantries, the students, the families, the teachers, the political advocates have spoken, it's time for the town fool to have my say. A lot of people have brought up the 40%, I believe it's 37 roughly percent of the student body is Asian. But what nobody has mentioned is that I believe it was the Quincy High School on Lunar New Year, there was almost a complete absence of Asian students. Well, it's 40% absentee numbers on that day, which correlates with the population. I don't know if it's 1-to-1, but you get the idea. Just skip the day, whether it was considered a holiday or not, whether that's because they just did it for the hell of it or because they got their pre-approved minority holiday day off. So the people have already spoken. It's a holiday. And if you oppose it now, all you're doing is burying your own grave politically and writing some nasty footnotes in the annals of our history. And I have to say, as I'm new to the topic, I have no connection to the holiday, very little connection to the community, because I've only lived here for 2 years. Hi, I'm one of them California guys that jumped over here. I was doing research on this topic and I stumbled across an article announcing the sentencing of the, 78-year-old Quincy resident who committed a terrible hate crime a couple years ago. I believe that conviction was in 24 or 25. 18 months in jail because he, used his car as a weapon in an act of terrorism against our community. That is a domestic terror threat against the population. And anybody in support of this terroristic act, as they said back in 2001,
You have 10 seconds.
we do not negotiate with terrorists. The people will get their holiday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is MJ Perdios, 86 Ruggles Street. I'm a student advisor to the Quincy School Committee as a representative from Quincy High School. As a student rep, my purpose is to use my knowledge as a student to advise the school committee members. Tonight, I would like to serve that purpose to the best of my ability. Although I do not personally celebrate Lunar New Year, I can tell you what it is like as a student in school on Lunar New Year. 40% of students in QPS celebrate Lunar New Year. That's 2 in every 5 students. In a 25-person classroom, that's 10 kids absent from class that day. Teachers realize that if they teach a new lesson, they'll just have to reteach it the next day when the students return from their celebrations. Usually they give us busy work or a free period. No real class material is taught, and certainly no tests are taken. I do not have firsthand experience of the celebrations and joy that these families have on that special day. However, we can all relate to the necessity of culturally significant holidays that would be devastating to miss. I've spent 16 Christmases with my grandparents. When they lived in their house in Quincy Point, there would be a big family gathering there. My grandmother made her famous Italian raviolis and meatballs, and many gifts, stories, and laughs were exchanged every year. I know every one of you has fond memories such as these. Both my grandparents died within the last 2 months. I'll never spend another Christmas with them. Now those 16 Christmas memories are even more cherished and even more important in my heart. Imagine now for a second that you never had those memories at all, because instead of being with your loved ones on your family's major holiday, you were at school. That is what 2 in 5 Asian QPS students wrestle with every year. Imagine seeing your friends come back from winter break full of memories with their family, knowing you won't have the same experience because your family celebrates Lunar New Year instead of Christmas. Over the last 2 meetings, you've heard from 37 speakers at Open Forum, plus 20 letters imploring you to see reason. Out of those 57 people, there were 4 current city councilors, 2 former city councilors, 6 students, 3 teachers, and 1 former teacher. I'm proud of my city. We are incredibly diverse. We have a huge amount of history here. We have beautiful parks, coastlines, houses, shops, and communities. But most importantly, we have voices. The people of Quincy are not quiet. This issue will not go away. We will continue to advocate for it. And that's why I'm on the Student Advisory Council to the school committee. Students cannot vote, but that doesn't mean we don't have voices. And everyone knows kids have the loudest voices. This issue will not go away. This issue is important. For the benefit of those 2 in 5 students, for the benefit of the other 3 in 5 students who waste a day in school, for the benefit of the family members who want to spend their most important holiday with their kids, and for the benefit of you, who deep down know it's the right thing to do. Please vote yes on making Lunar New Year a school holiday. Thank you.
Do I have anyone else for open forum at this time? Go right ahead.
Hello, I'm Ziqiang Susan Yuan. I live at 8 Harvest Lane. I'm also a new city councilor at large. Thank you, America. Thank you for Quincy residents. Hello, Mayor and the school committee members and the superintendent. I watched the public comments of the last school committee meeting while I was in LA. I was deeply moved, especially by the second generation Asian Americans who grew up in Quincy public schools. Many were focused simply on fitting in and not taking pride in who they were. Now that they have children of their own, they do not want them to repeat that experience. I'm a first-generation immigrant who came to the US at the age of 30. The American people welcomed me with open arms and proudly showed me how democracy works in this country. Having lived in a centralized government before, I deeply appreciate the democratic values here: voting rights, representation, and the ability of ordinary people to participate in decision-making. As I embraced American culture, I also realized that my own culture has great value as well. Strong family bonds, respect for elders and ancient wisdom, and the philosophy of living in harmony with nature are values appreciated by more and more Americans today. Making Lunar New Year a school holiday would not only recognize the 40% of students of Quincy public schools and the whole Asian community, but also help solve the practical problem of half-empty classrooms during the holiday. People have worked on this issue for many years. Struggle only brings more people to join in, as we have seen over these years. So I encourage this body to keep an open mind and look forward to help move history forward, as we have always told our students to do. It is time to make Lunar New Year an official school holiday in Quincy, Massachusetts. Thank you for your consideration.
Do we have anyone else for open forum? Open forum? Okay, I'm now closing this portion of the meeting. And with that, I need a motion to move into executive session to go out of order. Do we have a
Yes, I'll
motion?
make the motion. The last item on the agenda is executive session for contractual discussions. We have our school committee attorney coming in, so we're going to get into executive session, the next item on the agenda, and then we'll return back to the regular agenda after that meeting, how long it may take. So I make the motion, we go to executive session out of order.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Young. Do I need a roll call vote?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Begoli, Mrs. Cahill.
Yes.
Ms. Campbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Hubley.
Yes.
Mr. Leung.
Yes.
Mrs. Perdios.
Yes.
And Mayor Koch.
Yes.
Thank you. Are they all set in there?
We're good.
Okay, great. Hello, welcome back. We are back in session. Next on the agenda, we have the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. The first item on the agenda is the Massachusetts Music Educators Eastern District Festivals. At the Massachusetts Music Educators Association Eastern District event, students from both Quincy and North Quincy High School band and choir were selected for the Junior District Festival. Amelia Andre, Miles Emsweiler, Andrew Gaimare, Salma Hajjisem, Amelia Kanza. In addition to two middle school students, John Poles and Jack Ledwell were selected as well. For the Senior District Festival students, Nathan Aronoff, Marcus Baiduya, Barza, Joanna Cassingue, Miles Chessie, Edward Giza, Soren Hickman, Benjamin Locke, Alvin Nicola were also selected. The students competed alongside top musicians from high schools across the region, a highly competitive and rigorous audition process. Congratulations to Isabel Scarnici, Chiku Okakanawa, and Owen Veith, who were also selected for both the Senior District Festival and the MMEA All-State Festival, which was held at Boston Symphony Hall. Last week, North Quincy High School was pleased to welcome back a distinguished alumnus, U.S. Navy Captain Christopher Chowder Hill, commander of the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. Captain Hill was featured at a student assembly where he spoke about leadership and service. Captain Hill also enjoyed a special Taco Tuesday lunch in his honor. Thanks to Veteran Services Director Christine Cugini for coordinating the visit, and Food Service Director Sarah Dufort and her culinary team at North Quincy High School for providing the food. Upcoming Quincy Public Schools and City of Quincy events. Tomorrow morning, 100 rising seniors from Quincy and North Quincy High School will gather at Granite Links for the annual Leadership Summit. It's a great event. Tomorrow evening, the North Quincy High School Art Show will be held in the Atrium of Honor beginning at 5 p.m. and at 6 p.m. The All-City Jazz Band concert will be held in the Peter Chisholm Auditorium at North Quincy High School. Many schools are hosting observances for Memorial Day, including Beechwood Knoll, Montclair, and Snug Harbor Elementary Schools on Friday, May 22nd at 9 a.m. The North Quincy High School Drama Club is presenting The Importance of Being Earnest on Friday, May 22nd, and Saturday, May 23rd at 7 p.m. and Saturday, May 23rd at 2 p.m. in the school's auditorium. The City of Quincy Memorial Day Parade will be held on Monday, May 25th at 10:30 a.m., beginning at the Quincy Credit Union on Quincy Avenue and ending with the ceremony of remembrance at Mount Holliston Cemetery. Thanks to Mayor Koch for once again hosting his annual breakfast of graduating seniors next week, Wednesday, May 27th at North Quincy High School, and Thursday, May 28th at Quincy High School. Spring concerts continue with the All-City Band and Pops concert on Tuesday, May 26th at 6 p.m. at Quincy High School. Our newest QPS families are invited to Welcome to Kindergarten Parent Academy on Tuesday, June 2nd at 6 p.m. at Central Middle School to learn about the curriculum and learning opportunities for their students. The Point Webster and Clifford Marshall PTOs are hosting the annual Family Fun Run and Wellness Expo on Saturday, June 6th, starting at 9 a.m. at Point Webster Middle School. Graduation ceremonies will be held on Monday, June 8th for North Quincy High School and Tuesday, June 9th for Quincy High School, both at Veterans Stadium, starting at 6 p.m. The 75th Annual Flag Day events will be held on Saturday, June 13th, starting at 6 p.m. with the parade beginning from the corner of Hancock Street and Hannon Parkway and proceeding down Hancock Street to Marymount Parkway and ending at Adams Field. The flag raising will follow at 8 p.m. at Pageant Field, and a spectacular fireworks display will be held at 9 p.m. With that, that concludes the superintendent's report.
Point of order on your report. The Flag Day Parade is starting at 6:30 at the corner of Washington and Coddington Street, but the rest of the route is the same, so thank you.
Thank you for that
You wouldn't have known
clarification.
that, so.
I appreciate
Thank
the
you.
update. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion on that? Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, we have old business.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
If I could request in consent from the committee that we hold off on that item, so we can go to new business item A, which addresses, and then we'll return to that item.
Okay.
All those in favor, I guess?
All in favor, say aye. 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 Anyone opposed? Nope. Good. Next on the agenda, we have new business. We have the proposed revision to the school committee policy book, section 9.2, school year, school calendar. Mayor Koch.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this item helps us deal with the calendar issue. So I'd like to make a motion that we amend the school committee policy 9.2 by striking the following language from the policy. For the information of staff, students, parents, guardians, a calendar will set forth the days school will be in session, early release days, federal, state, municipal, and contractual holidays, and vacation periods. Need a second.
Okay. We have a motion by Mayor Koch. We have a second by Ms. Perdios. Do we have any discussion on the motion? Seeing none? Do we need a roll call vote, or is that Mulvey?
Mr. Begoli? That's it. Mrs. Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Hubley.
Yes.
Mr. Leung,
Yes.
Mrs. Perdios.
Yes.
And Mayor Koch.
Yes. I'll make a motion to return to the regular order of business.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, we have old business. We have 2026, 2027 QPS school year calendar. Mrs. Cahill,
On the motion,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the 2026-27 calendar to designate February 6th with an H in honor of Lunar New Year.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second by Ms. Campbell. Do we have any discussion on the motion? Mrs. Cahill?
I just wanted to say that contrary to popular belief, I do value and respect the Asian community, as I respect all of our religions, cultures, and families in our city. And that was the basis for my vote initially in honoring Lunar New Year in our schools. So I felt like I represent all the students and families in our city. We have 36% of Asian descent that celebrate Lunar New Year. I appreciate that, but I also feel like the other 65 or 70% of our families also deserve the respect of honoring their cultures and their religions as well. And I felt like giving an excused holiday was a way to respect everyone. And it had nothing to do with not respecting the Asian community in our city. So with that, that's been my stance, but obviously I'm not in the majority on the school committee right now in terms of honoring Lunar New Year. So I will stand with my colleagues and vote to put the H on the calendar.
We need a roll. Thank you, Mrs. Cahill. Do we need a roll call vote or all in favor? Roll call vote, Mr. Mulvey. Go right ahead. Oh, I thought you already did, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
I'd like to read a statement into the record. So I'd like to thank and commend everyone who came out tonight and at previous meetings, especially the young people. What you've done is exactly what you're supposed to do in a representative democracy, to advocate for a change that is important to you. This movement for observing arguably the most important holiday of so many Asian cultures was started by a student. For years, you came to this committee asking for the change. You spoke at open forum, you wrote letters, you brought signatures and data. And every year you broadened your coalition of support. This committee kept saying no, so you went to the city council. Just about 2 years ago to the day, the city council unanimously passed an ordinance that Quincy Public Schools should be closed on Lunar New Year. The school committee at the time refused to adopt that ordinance. They continued to deny your request and change the wording of the policy related to the school calendar. So then you made myself and Ms. Campbell your top choices in last year's election. We both were openly and enthusiastically supportive of recognizing Lunar New Year. With the mayor's stated support, we are on the verge of getting this done. It should not have taken this long, but I'm confident that it will. And when it does, they're going to write case studies about your efforts and your persistence in applying all the tools of the democratic process. And those who try to impede your progress will just be minor footnotes. Your voices are heard. I am with you all the way.
Thank you, Mr. Leon. We now have a roll call vote.
Pagoli, Mrs. Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Hubley,
Yes.
Mr. Leung,
Yes.
Mrs. Perdios,
Proudly yes.
and Mayor Koch.
Yes.
At this time, we are taking a brief recess. Thank you. We're back in session. Next on the agenda under new business is item B, fiscal year 2027 Quincy Public Schools budget. Superintendent Mulvey, Dr. Perkins, and Mr. Conlon to present. Let me turn on your microphones. You too.
Great, thank you. Good evening again, everyone. Tonight, of course, we will be presenting the Quincy Public Schools FY27 budget. Before we begin the presentation, and I will begin it, and then I'll hand it off to Dr. Perkins and Mr. Conlon to go through page by page with you the recommendations that we are making to you tonight. But first, I do want to obviously thank the mayor and the school committee for all of your support throughout the past several years, and of course in this year as well. As you know, there are a number of communities throughout the state, particularly close to us on the South Shore. Certainly, we are encountering it with our fellow superintendents, and these cities and towns are really struggling and having cuts. We're not seeing that, fortunately, here in Quincy. We have a level service budget with some ability to do some additional things, which is great. And again, some of our colleagues in other cities and towns around us don't have that ability. So I'm very, very grateful to, of course, the school committee and the mayor, and of course the city council for supporting this budget last night. And last night we had a great representation of our principals and the superintendent's leadership team, as well as the QEA, in support of this budget, and I want to thank all of them as well for coming out last night to support our budget presentation to the city council. So with that, I'll just get into the presentation. And the first part of our presentation is just quickly the budget process. I know for many of you this is very familiar, but I will go over it for the public's sake. The process basically follows initially with regard to the SLT and principals identifying areas of consideration for the budget, what areas we would need to increase, for instance, staffing due to class size, or shift staffing due to lower class size and higher class sizes in other buildings or in other programs. So this is something that we do throughout the school year with the SLT and our principals in order to develop the process where we are right now, which is presenting the budget to you. Of course, we organize options to address possible areas of impact throughout the district. We prioritize possible areas of increase in shift and reduction. And again, that's with the SLT. We determine impact on the budget lines throughout the entire budget, and it is obviously a timely and a year-long process, really, as we evaluate our needs. We present options, of course, to the Quincy School Committee, which is where we are here tonight. And we prioritize options. As part of that process, obviously, we have to present to the City Council, which we did last night and successfully received their approval on our bottom line. Of course, with the school committee, we prioritize options of importance for the school committee, and we rework options based on feedback from the school committee. And of course, upon the vote of the school committee to approve our budget, we then act upon that and implement the budget throughout the year. And of course, this year would be the FY 2027 budget. So with that, I will hand the presentation over to Mr. Conlon to review with you the details of the proposed budget that is before you.
Good evening, everyone, excuse me. To jump right into the superintendent's leadership team budget for fiscal year 2027, we're looking at a final budget number of $158,769,432. And year over year, this represents a roughly $8,489,380 increase from the fiscal year 26 COLA adjusted budget. Funding for this year's budget comes from two sources. It comes from the mayor's appropriation of $148,419,432, which is a $6,489,380, or 4.5% increase from the fiscal year 26 COLA adjusted appropriation of $141,930,52. For this year, we have projected circuit breaker funding at $10.35 million, which is a $2 million increase from the fiscal year 26 budgeted amount. So the next few slides, we have some historical charts here looking at some year-over-year analysis. Essentially, this first one basically outlines some of the costs that the city takes on aside from the budget, and these include costs like retirement, maintenance, snow plowing, and unemployment, and this supports school operations. So as you can see, overall school-related funding has grown from about 148 million in fiscal year 17 to over 237 million in fiscal year 27. Both the school budget and the city's additional support have increased steadily over time. This chart compares Quincy's required net school spending target to what the city actually funds for education each year. The blue line shows Quincy's consistently funding above the state required minimum. The foundation budget and Chapter 70 aid have both increased over time, but the city has continued to contribute beyond the minimum requirement. By fiscal year 27, required net school spending is about 183 million, while actual spending is projected at over 200 million. The third and final chart here shows Quincy's actual pupil per pupil spending to the state's foundation budget per student basis. And in fiscal year 27, the state foundation budget is about 18,300, while Quincy's projected net school spending is over 21,200 per student. The foundation budget represents the state's minimum estimate of what should be spent per student, while the red line reflects what Quincy is actually investing per pupil. And now we have the superintendent leadership team's budget recommendations for consideration. Basically, at a high level, these two slides show the fiscal year 26 along with our requests for fiscal year 27. The previous year budget, as I previously mentioned, was $146,734,627, and we had that additional appropriation for the negotiated union contract increases of $3,545,425, and that brought the total appropriation to $150,280,052. Below are the requests that we have for fiscal year 27. First, we have the salary increase across bargaining units. We calculated projected salary savings as well due to breakage and teacher retirements that will carry forward in fiscal year 27. This ultimately brings us to $3,257,130. Aside from salaries, we have additional requests below based on current year and future projections. So we have the Title I and II grant cut, $244,500. We're asking for a para increase, ELL, and speech increase, and this will total $620,000. We have several utilities that we're asking for increases in, so electric and natural gas at $500,000 and then $250,000. For special ed tuition increase, we're asking for a $1.5 million increase. In special ed transportation, $1 million. Also asking for a course reimbursement increase of $30,000, after school / summer program of a total of $750,000, and then a longevity increase of $337,750. And so this final slide here, we basically just highlight how we get to the final city appropriation number. So we're anticipating, as I previously mentioned on the earlier slide, 10.35 million in circuit breaker, and that'll bring the city appropriation to 141,930,052. And comparing this to fiscal year 26, this is roughly a 4.5% increase. So for the superintendent's leadership team budget for fiscal year 27, this funding allows us to meet all contractual obligations for the 26-27 year, including step and level increases for the amount of $3,257,130, and additionally provides $5,232,250 in additional funding to address class size, academic programs, academic support, and non-academic support, academic expenses, and non-academic expenses.
So I will take it from here. And so this is just a brief reminder of the school committee guidelines in terms of class size. And so our key questions as we look at academic classroom teachers, this is the process that we go through when we're getting ready to present the proposed budget to you all for consideration. We look at, does the current FY27 budget allocation allow us to maintain or increase all existing academic classrooms, which we have looked at. We also look at whether or not there is a need to reduce or increase our academic classrooms. We look at the changes in academic classroom teacher staff due to retirements, leave of absences, things like that, resignations. And have we considered enrollment projections in the staffing of the academic classrooms for the 2027 school year? We have looked at that as well. And will there be a need to exceed current school committee guidelines for class size at any level in the FY27 budget? And we do not anticipate that. We are very fortunate in Quincy that we are able to keep our class sizes low. And so that brings us to our recommendations for the upcoming FY27 budget. The first item is the reconciliation that Mr. Mullaney brought to the committee in October, which is in the budget book on page 3, item 1. In addition, we are recommending shifting some staffing. We have a couple of shifts that we are recommending that we make after looking at, as I said, class size and needs across the district. So we are recommending that we shift one academic classroom teacher to a special education position. And this is actually, we have a significant number of kindergarten students that are leaving the RDLC and are going out into their regular education or substantially separate classrooms within the district. And we don't have that many students leaving the CARES classrooms in the elementary school. So we only have about maybe 7 or 8 students leaving. We have about 17 coming in. So our classes are already at Snug Harbor, which is where our primary classes are. They are already quite large in the CARES program. And so we are asking to shift a classroom to open an additional CARES classroom, not at Snug Harbor, actually at Lincoln Hancock, because the majority of the students are from Lincoln Hancock. So I believe 11 of the 17 are actually Lincoln Hancock district. And so this would give those students an opportunity to be in their home school and also an opportunity for potential mainstream when they're ready for that. So we are recommending that shift. We're also recommending that we increase in terms of, and we make a shift to increase for class size. And so we have a couple of places at Clifford Marshall and actually at Lincoln Hancock where, as I said, we're turning one classroom into a CARES kindergarten classroom. And then at Clifford Marshall, we have room to actually decrease 2 positions there. And so we are recommending that we shift one of those classes up to Point Webster, and that we shift another classroom over to Marymount for their 5th grade. So the Point Webster is a 5th grade class. We need an additional 5th grade class over there. Marymount is a 5th grade class. We need an additional classroom over there because of the numbers. And then the final shift that we're making that you'll see in the budget book, it's not necessarily outlined here, but it's in the budget book, is an additional classroom at Parker for kindergarten, because the kindergarten numbers are very high for next year. And so that's the total of 4 positions that we would be shifting in academic classrooms. Most of them, 3 of them, are actually just going to address class size issues in other places. One of them is a shift into special education. And then in addition, we are also asking for an additional increase in FTEs for class size. So 1 additional, because we are watching also, so I mentioned kindergarten in Parker, but we are also watching the 1st grade at Parker as well. And that those numbers are creeping up pretty high. And so we are, kind of keeping an eye on it. What sometimes happens is we have a position saved to address classroom size, and over the summer, lots can happen. Kids move in, kids move out, and we always need it. It doesn't necessarily always end up where we originally thought we might need it, but we do always need it. And so we're asking right now, we believe that the need is going to be at Parker in 1st grade. And so we are watching those numbers. And then we also have an increase here in longevity due to contractual obligations. So that is some of the items that were negotiated most recently with the QEA. And so academic programs, this is just a reminder of the academic program staff and what makes up that area of our budget. And so similarly, questions that we ask in terms of academic programs, does the current FY27 budget allocation allow us to maintain or increase in terms of academic program staffing? Are there changes in academic program staffing due to retirements, resignations, things of that nature? And have we considered a reduction in force within the academic program area? So we do have a couple of changes that we're recommending here in the academic program. So again, there was a reconciliation that occurred in the fall. We are also asking for an increase of 1 FTE for ELL. And this is particularly for the programs at Central Middle School and at Atlantic. So we are suggesting right now that potentially that they may split between the two buildings. But again, we're also watching the numbers. The students we just received the access scores, looking at how many students have been identified as a level 1, which would require much more services. So we're looking at all of those things. But as it stands right now, we believe that it will be a split between Central and Atlantic. We're also asking for an increase of 1 FTE for special education, and that is for the RDLC. We are very happy to report that the RDLC is growing steadily, and we actually, one of the things we mentioned last night is that for the first time in my career, our out-of-district numbers, we are at 134 students. Never, ever in my career have we been as low as 134 students in out-of-district tuition. Typically, we are around 170. At one point, at the height of COVID, we were close to 180 students out of district. So although I know we are asking for an increase in tuition, if we did not have the RDLC, I have to tell you that ask would be significantly higher. That the RDLC is saving us tremendously on tuitions. And so I did just want to point that out. And the other increase that we're asking for is for a speech and language teacher. And for the committee, the new members, the members that are here, we are constantly have been working for years on lowering case numbers for our therapists. And so this is something that we've been trying to address every year, every budget, to make sure that those caseload numbers stay within a reasonable amount. And again, it's just an area that continues to grow within the district. And the next area is academic support. And we have the people that make up the academic support area. And similar key questions: are we able to maintain or increase? Are there any changes due to things like retirements or resignations? And have we considered a reduction in force? And so here we are requesting an increase of 5 FTEs for paraprofessionals. Some of those will go to the new classes. Primarily, I would say the majority will go to the new classes at the RDLC and the additional CARES class that I mentioned. We are also asking for an increase in our summer education program for $500,000. We've been so fortunate to be able to provide an absolutely amazing summer program, and the mayor has so generously funded that over the years. And so we asked for that to be built into our budget, and so that is what we're recommending or asking for tonight. And we're also asking for an increase in our after-school funding by $250,000. This is an area that we're constantly under budget or over budget, I should say. We run wonderful after-school programs. The cost has increased as teachers have received raises, and coaching salaries have increased, and so we are asking for an increase of $250,000 to address some of those needs. And non-academic support, these are the people that make up the non-academic support. In the area of non-academic support, we ask pretty much the same questions: maintain or increase? Were there any changes due to retirements or resignations? And have we considered a reduction in force? In this area, we're not recommending any changes this for FY27. And then we move into the subsidized services. So in terms of subsidized services, similar questions. Have we considered adjustments and or recommendations in any of the subsidized programs? Have we considered generating additional revenue? Have we considered generating additional revenue in order to restore any programs that might have been reduced? And have we considered the operational community impact within the subsidized service areas? And so the first area is food service, which you heard a wonderful presentation from Sarah DeFore this year. She explained the program. I don't think I need to read that over, but there is no fees. We're very fortunate that we have free lunch in all of our schools. And so we are recommending that we maintain free lunch, which we are very thankful to our legislature for that. In terms of school building rentals, so we do have fees for places that want to rent some of our school buildings. There is a fee structure that's established by the committee. At this time, we are not recommending an increase in any of those fees. In transportation, we also historically have, although I will say right now we are not charging anyone for transportation, but in other previous years we have. Currently we don't. And again, the rates are established by the policy here in the school committee, and we are not recommending any changes in fees in transportation. In athletics, the athletic department is funded through three main sources: the operating budget, the user fees, and the gate fees, as well as in some cases donations from parent boosters and things like that. And so the rates are established by this committee, and we are also not recommending any change in fees for our athletics. In terms of academic expenses, these are some of the items that make up academic expenses. And the questions that we ask are, have we identified expense lines that need increased funding or restoration? And have we considered expense lines that may be reduced in order to shift funding to other budget lines? And so what we're asking for is an increase in funding for special education in the FY27 budget for tuitions of $2 million. This does include some of the circuit breaker funding as well, the increased circuit breaker funding. We are also asking for an increase in funding for professional discretionary money of $25,000. So this was, again, a negotiated item within the QEA contract. And so we were able to increase to $450 per teacher. And this is items that they buy to support their classroom throughout the year. They provide receipts, and we do reimburse them. And then we are also asking for an increase in course reimbursement, again, another negotiated item. And so it was previously $25,000. We're going negotiated up to $50,000, where teachers can take courses, and they submit their receipts, and we will reimburse them. And so we're asking for an increase of $30,000 in that line. Then in terms of non-academic expenses, these are the areas that make up this area in the budget. And we are asking for an increase in funding for natural gas of $250,000, and an increase in funding for electric of $500,000. And as many of us probably know, the cost of utilities is only increasing, and so that is a typo. It should say electric. I'm very sorry about that. That should say electric, not 2 times special ed transportation. And so we are asking that should be electric. And the final line is an increased funding for special education of $1 million. And so again, just items that the cost just continually increases. And so we are asking for some increases there so that we are able to do what we need throughout the year. And I will turn it back to Adam.
Thank you, Dr. Perkins. So this is the final slide here. I know I've thrown a lot of numbers at you all tonight, so I won't go down every one, but basically it's just a consolidated view of all of the additions that we've asked for, essentially. So going down the academic classroom teachers, the programs, the support, non-academic support, and then the academic and non-academic expenses.
And with that, we'd be happy to answer any questions, and we do just want to thank you for all your support. It's a massive budget, and we couldn't do it without you and with the mayor and the city council. Thank you very much.
I know, Mrs. Pretius, you asked about the Yonder pouches and the 200,000, so we did manage to find partners who are willing to cover that expenses. There'll be probably 4 or 5, which will show on the agenda. The other good thing, too, is they're willing to donate for the Yonder pouches, but also if we do end up getting grant money, because we're filing with the Attorney General's office to get a substantial grant, and also the Yonder pouch company itself may be giving us a substantial grant just to get the business in Quincy. The partners are allowing us to keep that money to use for, obviously, student-related expenses. So overall, a very good thing, but the partners stepped up once again for our students. So, yep.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Do you have any questions from my colleagues? Mrs. Cahill.
Hi. Just real quick, a couple of things. So this has been approved, right, by the city council in terms of the budget? It's already approved for us, the allocation, so
Yes.
that money is already there. I guess my one question, when we see all these other schools, school districts that are having issues, we have this budget and it's allocated, all the funds are pretty much allocated, right? Are there unexpected, I think I understood, I actually watched last night, the special ed and the transportation, those are kind of unexpected expenses, because we don't know if they're going to increase it at any point. What do we do if all of these funds are pretty much allocated? What do we do if we need more money in our budget to meet some of that expense?
Well, I mean, I'm sure the superintendent can add.
I
but
can,
go ahead.
yeah. So essentially, we would be going to the mayor's office and asking for a supplemental appropriation. And then, of course, we would work together to determine how much an appropriation we would need, and then we would have to approach the city council again. But what we do.
We may have to make a few cuts.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but what we're very, very precise and careful, and our estimates over the years have been very accurate, and we're confident in this budget that we won't need to do that.
And putting the extra money in there that you have allocated already.
Right.
So that was one question, how we're going to deal with that. We might, hopefully that wouldn't be the case, but we would have to look at some things and make some changes.
Right.
I do have it's not really a budget question, but I have a question about the new classrooms that we have to put in place. And we're looking at like Lincoln Hancock and Parker and all that. Do we have room for them in these buildings? Like, that's a little bit of a concern based on what we've been talking about.
Parker, if we have to open an additional first grade classroom, we may have to move the STARS program. And so, or at least one of the STARS classrooms. So, which is why we are, watching that very carefully. And so we would probably be looking to actually move it to Clifford Marshall, because they have room right now to be able to go, they're going down two classes,
Okay.
2 FTEs. Lincoln Hancock, although we need one of those rooms for the CARES kindergarten, they also have right now, based on their numbers, they have the potential to decrease 1 FTE. So, so they do have a little bit of wiggle room right now.
Okay, and I think that's really, and we had that increase in the breakage fund. Is that based on our student population in need? Like, how do they gave us more money this year, right?
Yes,
Is that
yeah.
correct?
The circuit breaker, is that what
Yeah,
you- yeah.
circuit breaker.
Yeah, so you get reimbursed so much, and because of the cost of the tuition, the legislator did increase the threshold for how much you have to spend in order then to get the reimbursement. So we actually got more money than we anticipated. And I do have to say, the special education team, they're the ones that complete the circuit breaker. So they, we have it pretty much down to a science. They try to get reimbursed for every penny they possibly can, which makes a huge difference. And you see the benefit in the increase in the funds that we're getting back. I will also say that they also added transportation, which was a huge benefit.
Okay.
That made a massive difference for us. Yeah.
Okay, all right, great, thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Perdios.
Thank you. And thank you for the budget. Thank you for going through it so thoroughly. I haven't had the opportunity to really kind of look at the line by line, but just looking based on your presentation tonight, thank you for that. I have mixed feelings about, level funded budgets, but looking at just what a lot of communities are going through around us with closing schools and laying off teachers, I'm very proud that we're not doing that. I'm very happy we're not doing that. So it looks better to me than, I'm sad about, not being able to expand our REACH program and have a little bit more of everything that I know our students and families would love to see. But we definitely provide so much for our students that I'm proud that we're not having to cut back on anything that we offer them. So I'm glad about that. And thank you about the Yonder Pouch update. I'm very excited about that. Couple quick questions. On page 9, we have a special ed tuition increase of 1.5 million. And then when we go over to page 32, it looks like that special ed increase is 2 million. Is there a reason for the discrepancy between those two?
Yeah, there's the circuit breaker is also built into that. So that's what we're anticipating.
Gotcha.
So that's, yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
And I also had a question, Mrs. Cahill asked about the room. Do we have room for those classrooms? Now, is that at Lincoln Hancock, when we're talking about adding that, is that factoring in the kindergarten move to Della? Is that what?
Not yet,
Okay.
no.
Is that going to be impacted, assuming that's still happening in the fall? Does that impact anything budget-wise?
It wouldn't, our plan would be whenever Della Chiesa is ready, it would be that we would move the 6 kindergarten classrooms. So it would just give Lincoln Hancock more space, which they absolutely could use. So the teachers already exist, I guess, so it wouldn't necessarily impact anything budget-wise. They'd just be moving buildings.
Great. And I felt like I heard last year that Atherton Howe was a little tight on, over on their classes or getting a little full on classes. Was that a consideration when you were looking at staff, whether to move or to?
Yep. So actually, Atherton Howe, they are actually shifting to special education teachers, which is great for them. So we actually do not have full classes in LDC for the first time in a very long time. And so one of those classes is actually moving to Broad Meadows because we have a need in the Learning Center and CARES again all our CARES classes are booming. They are just huge. And so as they move up, we sometimes have to move the staff with them. And so because we have some wiggle room in the LDC at Atherton, which allows them to decrease a class, then that position will move to Broad Meadows, and we're going to open an additional learning center at Broad Meadows to help with some of the overflow at Southwest. And so then in addition, we have 2 TK classes at Atherton Howe, and we actually only need 1 right now next year. So there's ebbs and flows, in the special education world, but we only need 1. And so we're actually potentially where we do another program that is huge is the STARS program. As I mentioned, we may have to move one of the STARS classes from Parker over to Clifford Marshall. We actually have a need for another K1 STARS program right now because the classes are full. And so we're potentially going to take the extra TK class, put that over at Clifford Marshall, and that would actually give Atherton 2 rooms, which would be great for them.
Okay, and we have staffing staffing is built in there to kind of.
Yep, those are already existing positions.
Okay.
So those are already in the budget.
Okay,
We just shift to fill the needs. So the first thing we do is use what we have.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. I'm super excited to, not budget related, but, well, it is budget related to hear about the number of students out of district, going out of district. That's awesome.
I was very excited when I
really
pulled the
great.
number.
Yeah, that's like the real data that when we opened the RDLC, it was hard to sort of see at first, and it was a huge upfront cost, and it still continues to be. But these savings year over year, especially seeing how much these tuitions are increasing each year, every student is huge. So, so thank you for that. And I think that might have been it. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for walking us through this. I wanted to also thank the mayor for the almost 5% increase. I mean, with what we're seeing going on throughout the state and the country, to be able to get that increase is nothing to scoff at. It's an investment in our future. It's money well spent, and it's up to us to make sure that we spend it effectively. I also wanted to comment about the RDLC and the out-of-district tuition. You addressed it, Dr. Perkins, very well. So thank you for that. My question is there any opportunity for, I guess, additional upfront spending or build-outs for RDLC programs that, with the idea being, you spend some money upfront now in anticipation of further cost savings, when those investments kind of
I
pan
think
out.
that was the whole design of the RDLC, actually. In every class we open, that's exactly what we're doing, pretty much. So when we open a classroom, typically you need a teacher, and I would say normally at the RDLC, probably 3 paras, is typical. And so one student in an out-of-district tuition with transportation and the cost of the tuition would be at least $80,000 for just the tuition. That doesn't even count transportation. So you're talking probably over, and this is probably one of our lesser, less expensive programs. It would be about $100,000. In that, I would say that would be the least amount. I mean, these tuitions can go all the way up to $250,000, $300,000 more, depending on what the student needs. If they need a one-to-one para, even more. So we open one classroom in district or at RDLC, and bringing one student back or not sending one student out is going to fund potentially the teacher and probably at least some of one para, if not all of a para. You have 2 students that you don't send out, you've now funded the whole class for a class that can probably take 8.
Wow.
So that's the real savings. It is hard, and I did talk about this last night as well. It's hard to see when you look at the budget, because it's really not actually a fair comparison, because the cost of tuitions have gone up so dramatically, since we started this project, which was before COVID. I mean, they were expensive before COVID, but since COVID, you're talking 40% increase at least in most of these programs, including the South Shore Collaborative, which we're a member of, and that's probably our best deal. And that even still now is, I think, about $90,000 to send a student to one of their, programs for students with autism. It's very expensive. So just opening, and the same is true for STARS. When I talked about moving STARS, this is why we do this, because otherwise those children will end up going to out-of-district placements more than likely. And so to open that classroom, although the upfront, maybe a teacher, although in this case it already exists, maybe a teacher, maybe 2 or 3 paras, the class with 10 children or up to 12 children in a classroom, which I will say we do like to keep them around 10. So, but depending on the class and the need, sometimes a little lower. But so when you open that classroom, that is a huge savings for the district. Huge.
Okay, great. Thank you. It may be in here, but I didn't have time to go through the budget book. But could either of you tell us a bit about technology spending compared to previous years, and then maybe the kind of allocation of that spend?
We did not increase technology this year.
Thank you. I can talk a little bit about that. So this year, obviously, because we had to allocate where we thought was most important, we did not necessarily increase technology. Our focus will be, as it has been in the last year, trying to get more grants for Chromebooks. So this past year, we were successful in getting, thanks to the mayor, and the mayor's grant writers, $180,000 for one set of Chromebooks, and then we managed to get 500 Chromebooks with Chromebook carts as well. So we're going to, the plan is to continue down that avenue and ask and reach out to those same lines to continue to increase our Chromebook numbers. With regard to other technology and infrastructure, the infrastructure within the district is very, very good, and we'll do a presentation on that for you so you have a better in-depth idea of the status of technology. That was upgraded, obviously, during COVID and continues to be upgraded. And upgrades through the city side, and the city pays for a lot of these upgrades that don't land in the Quincy Public Schools budget are constantly happening with regard to servers and that sort of thing, as well as internet connectivity. We have to have great internet connectivity just because of the MCAS testing at the high schools and middle schools, and of course, all of the Chromebook work that's done throughout the district. So although we weren't able to significantly increase our technology line due to this current budget, our goal is to continue to expand Chromebooks through grant writing and possibly other avenues as well as partnerships as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then I guess just for my own edification, could you explain to me the circuit breaker funding? How how forecastable is that the use of an amount of circuit breaker funding this year? Does that have an effect on what's available next year?
So, I mean, it is somewhat forecastable. It does ebb and flow a little bit, because you may get a move in that you didn't expect. The circuit breaker is designed to basically reimburse districts for what they already spent in the current fiscal year. And so so what happens is we pay $80,000 for a student to go to, an out-of-district placement. And I don't remember what the threshold number is. We could get that to you. But there's a threshold number. So you have to have spent X amount. It could be $60,000 or $70,000. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head right now. And when I started, I think it was, 60 maybe. So it's probably higher now. But so you have that threshold. Anything you spend after that, say 70,000, that's what you can get reimbursed on, and they give you a percentage of that. For years and years and years, they did not count transportation. So now they've added in the transportation cost. So if you spend $80,000 on a student's tuition, we drive them back and forth out of district, you're going to get reimbursed on the percentage over, the $70,000 threshold. And you're also going to get reimbursed a percentage of that transportation. So it's usually, I don't remember what the percentage of reimbursement is right now, but in the past it's been 35% or 45%, and it has gone steadily up. It has increased over time, which is great. It's not the whole thing, and it's only a percentage of the amount that the district has spent over the threshold. So yes, you can. Most of our students, we're a pretty stable district. A lot of our students, they stay with us, for years and years. And if they're in an out-of-district program, lots of times they're in out-of-district programs. So you can pretty much guarantee that, as long as the percentage of reimbursement doesn't change, which the legislature can change that percentage of reimbursement, and they have, on tough fiscal years, they may decrease it. On good fiscal years, they may increase it, which is a win, which is what, they have increased it, which is why, we see. And also, obviously, the cost of the tuitions has gone up, which makes it much easier for us to hit that threshold, therefore be eligible for that reimbursement. You can also claim in-district students, but again, they have to meet that threshold. And there's not a lot of wiggle room in what you claim because the state sets the rates. So the state will say, if you have a special education teacher, you're basically, whether we pay them this rate or not, this is all you can claim. You can claim $40 an hour or whatever it is. And that might be not what our rate is. It might be something totally different. If we have a BCBA, we may pay way more for that BCBA, but the state only allows us to claim $29 an hour for services. And all of it has to be documented in the child's IEP. If it's not documented in the child's IEP, you cannot claim it. So that's kind of how it works. And so it does fluctuate, you know, especially if we get move-ins that we didn't anticipate. You know, we may get more money but we spent more money, you know. So it is, when you have the consistent group of students, which the majority of our students are consistent, and, you know, we pretty much know, we can anticipate that we're going to get, you know, X amount based on what the current reimbursement rate is. But it will fluctuate depending on what the legislature decides and depending on, you know, if we have a significant increase or decrease in the number of students who are in out-of-district tuitions.
Got it.
Hopefully that's it in a nutshell.
Yes, thank you.
You had your Wheaties this
All
morning.
set?
Yeah, all set.
Big nut.
Okay. Yeah, I have a couple questions too. So, under the increase for the speech hearing teacher, where's he or she going to be?
When Julie and I spoke, I believe it was actually Parker, which we're seeing an increase in staff, you know, in students, in enrollment. And what was the other, Julie back there, what was the other school? Parker and? In pre-K.
Okay. So are we still contracting with social hearing for the teacher of the deaf? Because I
Yes.
see that position still hasn't been filled yet, so that's still open, and we're just
We have
contracting
a,
with
we have
them
a, we have a person. They're just not in our budget. They're in our budget, but it's under contractual services.
Okay, great. And I did love the 134 number for out-of-district. That's great that that's come down.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. And I have one other question. So in past years, when we had the subsidized programs that were not changing, we had taken that out. It was like a separate, we had our budget, we had the subsidized, and we voted on it separately. Is that something people have an appetite for doing tonight, or since there's no change in the fees and no increase, and we having free lunches, and we'd like to keep that, if we take those out and vote on it independently?
Or you could just vote it on as a whole with the whole budget.
Okay, I just know in past years when we had it at no change, we had done that
You
before,
have,
so.
but it may be more efficient just to vote on the whole thing.
Okay, then I won't bring it up then if it's not as efficient. Okay, that's all I had. Thank you very much. And we have a question from our North Quincy High School student representative. I believe that's your mic.
So I was looking at the program earlier, just now, and I saw ROTC and it reminded me of something. So I assume that a few of you, or at least most of you or everyone here, has heard that Sarge is retiring
Yes.
soon. So I was, this is not going to impact me because I'm a senior, but I know that there's a lot of people at my school who, you know, love the ROTC program. It's what makes NQ NQ. So I was wondering if you guys could continue supporting the ROTC program in any way possible, whether that be, you know, financially or any other means. And then I was also wondering what would happen to the ROTC program. This might be a little bit off topic, but what would happen to the ROTC program once Sarge is gone, and what that would look like for NQ, if you have any answers as to that.
Yeah. And I so appreciate that question. And I just want to say how much we love Sarge too, and we thank him for everything that he's done for North Quincy and for the city and for all of the kids. So we absolutely would continue to support the ROTC program. The problem is, unfortunately, knowing that he was probably going to retire, we've had his position posted for at least 2 years, and there are very specific requirements. We can't just hire any teacher. They have to be Air Force. There's all kinds of credentials that they have to hold. And there's a national shortage, unfortunately, in ROTC teachers or educators. And so we have not, up until this point, been able to find a replacement for him. So it isn't about the finances. It's actually about the actual human. We just haven't been able to find a person. If we're still looking, we're not giving up. We are still looking, but we have not had much luck. And so we have it posted still. We're, kind of holding out hope, but So if we can't find anyone, then we can't run the program, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like to relate this to some students.
Yeah.
And then following up on that notice, if Sarge doesn't have a replacement, I was wondering what would happen to the ROTC program at all, as if like other classes could substitute like the ROTC program and.
Right. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at. So if we are unable to, the second request is actually like a business course. And so we have been watching that. So we would probably try to hire an additional business teacher for North Quincy to make sure that everyone had, you know, an elective. I know it's not ROTC, but something that they would like.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, do you have any other questions for my colleagues? Seeing none, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. No, not right now. Okay, so next on the agenda, we have Quincy Public Schools Summer Programs. Just stay where you are. And Mr. Marani will join you. You can start as soon as you're ready.
Okay, so thank you very much for having us for the summer program. Yeah. So we will not go through every single slide. The summer program has actually been posted already. It went out actually last Friday. Thank you so much for the continued support of all the programs. We are thrilled to report that we are offering all of the summer programs that we've offered in the past. So we're really excited about that. And, you know, we have programs for elementary, we have programs for middle school, we still have our theater program, Ms. Perdios, so that's very exciting. We have credit recovery, we have literally a program for everyone, and so we're very excited about that. We also have some programs that support students that have academic needs, such as the Bridge to Reading, multiple special education programs. And so if we won't go through every single slide, but if you have the presentation, if anyone has any questions, we'd be happy to answer any questions about any of the individual programs. And I know Mr. Marani has an update on where we are in terms of the registrations and the hiring.
Thank you, everybody. Good evening. And I will be brief. So I just want to let everybody know, as Dr. Perkins mentioned, the brochure has been released and distributed. So that can be found at quincypublicschools.com/summerscene2026. So that is now live where people can use that to register. As of now, probably a few hours ago, we had 816 registrations already. Registration will stay open until June at the earliest, right? What we've done in the past is we look at the numbers. If we need to extend that out, we certainly will. But right now it's set to remain open for the remainder of May, and then we'll take another look June 1, whether or not it needs to stay open or not. That brochure is also made available via a community newsletter sent out by principals, so schools will send that out. It's also been shared via all the QPS social media channels. So we're trying to get that out there as much as possible. So we're using this opportunity just to let people know. Again, quincypublicschools.com/summerscene2026. And then I do just want to provide the update that once again, we'll be offering the Summer Pathway Credit Recovery Program it will be hosted at Quincy High School. However, of course, it's open to Quincy High School and North Quincy High School students. So I just want to verbalize the walk-in registration date. So people can still register online as they have been able to, but just so families are aware, July 1st is at Quincy High School. There's a walk-in registration that will run from 8:30 a.m. until 11 a.m. And this is all included in the brochure as well. I just wanted to use this opportunity to share that. And then July 2nd is the North Quincy High School walk-in registration. Same time, 8:30 a.m. until 11 a.m. And I do just want to express the same gratitude that Dr. Perkins mentioned. We're able to offer all the same programs we've been able to offer. We're very, very lucky to do that. That's over 20 programs being offered across all levels, elementary, middle, and high school. So we're certainly grateful that the learning continues well into and throughout the summer. So thank you.
If anyone is looking for information on the summer programs, it's, as Mr. Marani said, it's online, or if they have any trouble registering, they can also call any one of us and we'll help them through that. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. And like in past years, this is our teachers that are?
It's our teachers,
Our
yep. So the teachers, I think pretty much every program is staffed at this point. We got tons of applicants, which is amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. So last year, I believe we had maybe just a small number of non-QPS paraprofessionals to help with some of the special ed programming. If I'm not mistaken, last year was 100% QPS educators as far as the classroom teachers, and I believe that will be the case this summer as well. That's certainly where the appointment process is heading us.
I think that's fabulous, because then our kids get to see a familiar, friendly face, and they know who's
Absolutely.
there teaching the class.
Agreed.
So that's wonderful. Thank you. Do you have any questions for my colleagues? Mrs. Perdios?
Just a comment more than a question. Just to remind families that these programs are free to them, free to families, free to students, and it's just I'm just so grateful that we're able to continue doing it and find a way to do this. I think it's fantastic. Thank you for the effort that goes into it. Thank you to the educators for stepping up over the summer and putting in additional time with our students. It's just great. It's something for everyone, and I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Mrs. Cahill?
A quick question about the credit recovery.
Yeah.
So the students have to go to the high school to register for
They
that?
do not have to. That's an option. So
Yeah.
they
They
can
do
still
it.
they can register online. So there is a link in the brochure that's available. And then also what typically happens is they're working with their guidance counselors and they're completing the registration with their guidance
'Cause
counselors.
that was kind of my question. I'm like, why aren't we doing that with them in
Yeah,
school to
and-
make sure that they're
Yeah,
doing
I would say the majority of students are already registered prior to the walk-in, and they're doing that with the assistance of their guidance counselors.
Great, thank you.
Mayor Koch?
Thank you. Just a question, I think to highlight what we do here in Quincy, but how many other districts do this?
I don't know any. I really don't know any. Not to this level, not this kind of programming. And when you think about recreation and also, the summer program, like all of the things, the activities on the common, it's just no, I don't know any. I don't know any.
They just cut whatever was out there other than Quincy has just been all cut as well because of their budgetary constraints.
I think people offer what they have to, like in terms of special education. This is just impressive, and the offerings are just impressive.
Can I just add one more to that point? It's also important to point out that in addition to summer, the extracurricular offerings throughout the school year, the fact that we have so many students that can participate in those free programs before or after the school day, that's also equally uncommon. So if you start going to outside districts, there's a fee associated with all these after-school programs. So the fact that our students can access these and not have money serve as a barrier to these is a gift. So we're grateful, for sure.
Yes, thank you for offering all the same programs. This is phenomenal. The Leung household is grateful for this. You provide just exciting, meaningful, enriching activities. You get them outside, use up that energy. So great job. Quick question about the summer lunch program. Can you remind me, is that funded by the state? And
Yes.
yes,
Yep,
it is funded.
it's still the free lunch. Yes.
Okay, and how has the demand been for that? Do you find
I think it's
families are
been pretty
utilizing
good. I mean, I don't have exact numbers, but
Yeah, the food service program during the summertime is substantial. And a big thank you to Sarah Dufour and her team, but they manage a large amount of requests for student lunches during the summertime. So they don't turn anyone away in need, and they do an amazing job. And the amount of food they produce for our students and families is amazing, but it absolutely is a very, very big need in the city during the summertime.
They also provide snacks too
Yes,
to a lot of
yeah.
our programs, which is wonderful.
Great, thank you.
All right.
I just
Mrs. Cahill?
want, I think I just want to reiterate for everyone out there in the audience who are watching us that this summer program is not required. And we are very fortunate to have the support of the mayor and the city to fund this $750,000 program for our kids. So we can't take that for granted, and I want to make sure that we highlight this is a gift to us in our budget to be able to do that. So, but thank you for the work that goes into it anyway. More so. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have South Shore Educational Collaborative Representative, Superintendent.
Thank you. Each district who is a member of the South Shore Collaborative sends their superintendent as a representative to serve on the board of directors for the South Shore Collaborative. We meet about monthly, and it is required of each district to vote annually. That
Make a motion that we send our superintendent as a representative to the Social Education Collaborative.
Okay, we have a motion, second by Mrs. Cahill.
it is a roll call.
We have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Begoli, Mrs. Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Hubley.
Yes.
Mr. Leung.
Yes.
Mrs. Perdios.
Yes.
And Mayor Koch.
Yes.
Thank you.
And nobody else wants to do it.
I know, probably not.
Okay. So as a point of order, I realized that we had voted on the school calendar amendment. We never actually voted on the school calendar itself with the amendment. So we need to go back. I need a motion
Motion
to
go
accept
back
the
to,
calendar.
that item and take a vote on the calendar.
Okay, I have a motion to go back, seconded by Mrs. Perdios. Discussion on going back? No? Okay, great. Can we have a roll call vote on accepting the calendar with the amendment?
Mr. Begoli, Mrs. Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Hubley.
Yes.
Mr. Leung,
Yes.
Mrs. Perdios.
Yes.
And Mayor Koch.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, gotta love process. Gotta do things. All right, so now that is official. Okay, next on the agenda, we have the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Begoli, Mrs. Cahill.
Yes.
Ms. Campbell. Yes. Mrs. Hubley.
Yes.
Mr. Leung. Yes. Mrs. Perdios. And Mayor Koch.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have additional business, seeing none. Next, we have communications. We have upcoming school committee meeting at the Coddington Building at 6:30 on June 10th. Next on the agenda, we have reports of subcommittees. We have the Special Education Subcommittee, which was on April 1st. Ms. Campbell to report.
We had the pleasure of having the Special Education Director, Julie Graham, and her team come and present do the annual presentation on special education rights and responsibilities.
Thank you very much. Are there any corrections to these minutes for Ms. Owens?
No.
Seeing none, okay. Moving on to the next, we have athletics that was on April 1st meeting. Ms. Perdios to report.
Thank you. Yes, on April 1st, we had our Athletics and Wellness Subcommittee meeting. Mr. Mahoney was with us. The Director of Athletics and Wellness, Kevin Mahoney, was with us. He reviewed the fall and winter seasons at the high schools and then kind of gave us an update, a spring update for the spring sports. And he gave an update on the boys ice hockey co-op. They will need to be reconfirmed this year with the Patriot League. He doesn't see a problem with that happening. Mr. Bergoli brought up a concern about the MIAA tournament format, that teams can qualify even if they have unsuccessful season records because of power ranking. So there's a little discussion on that. Mrs. Cahill asked about surveying parents about their their students' athletic experiences, which I had agreed with, and we talked about having more of that happening at the end of the seasons. I had asked about the sailing program and that there is a coaching vacancy that they were hoping to fill. And I had asked about batting cages at Pond Street that I believe are all set right now. So I thanked Commissioner Murphy and Mr. Doherty for that. And I think that was about it. Full minutes are on will be on the website.
Thank you. Do we have any corrections to these minutes? Seeing none, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, we have the Teaching and Learning May 6th meeting. Myself, Mrs. Hubley here, will do the report for this one. Let's see, Teaching and Learning Subcommittee was held on May 4th, or was it May 6th? May 4th, okay. This is wrong. One of them is wrong. May 4th. Assistant Superintendent Dr. Erin Perkins, North Quincy High School Principal Dan Gilbert, and Human Resource Director Dan Cosgrove gave a review of the Air Force Junior ROTC program at North Quincy High School. Retired Master Sergeant DiLorenzo is planning to retire at the end of the school year, and unless a qualified Air Force retiree is interested in the vacancy, the program will conclude with the school year. Mr. Cosgrove reviewed the qualifications needed to fill this program, retired from Air Force with significant years of experience, certified and willing to transition into teaching. The North Quincy High School position has been posted for more than 2 years, with the most recent candidate departing 2 weeks into the school year in September. Given these factors, there is little likelihood of finding a qualified candidate by the start of the school year. We also had Senior Director of Curriculum, Michael Marani. He presented a review of artificial intelligence in the Quincy Public Schools, starting with a review of opportunities, personalized and differentiated learning, increased efficiencies of educators, support of students' skill development, and exposure to the real-world tools and technology. These minutes can be found in full on the website, and I do not see any corrections since the date is correct. All right, next on the agenda, we are going into executive session.
I make
Need
a
a
motion, we
motion?
go to executive session. The purpose of contract negotiations, we will not be returning to regular session.
Okay, I have a motion of a second by Ms. Campbell. I need a roll call vote.
Mrs. Cahill?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Hubley?
Yes.
Mr. Leung?
Yes.
Mrs. Perdios?
Yes.
And Mayor Koch.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very
Sergeant at
much.
Arms, clear the room.